It's a Thursday. That means that the ladies are here on Big Issue to speak on some of the major trending topics that have happened during the week. Yesterday, we spoke about the Attorney General and Accusations. Today, we're going to talk about it again as the ladies will share their take on it. So just by way of refreshing your memory, if you like, we know that there has been some accusation by Mr. Japa, the third accused in the ambulance saga trial that's currently ongoing, where he claims that the Attorney General contacted him without reaching him through his lawyer or in the presence of his lawyer to get him to make a testimony of sort against Mr. Accusations. Now, we've come to learn that the rules of the legal practice mandates that you cannot contact a represented person, a person who has a lawyer, unless you do this contact through his lawyer or in the presence of his lawyer. Mr. Japa says that Attorney General contacted him without following this process. Now, the minority is calling for the Attorney General to be sacked. They're calling for him to be prosecuted because they say that as the first gentleman of the bar, as the leader of the bar, he ought to be held to high standards, if you like, higher standards than other lawyers. The majority on their parts are saying that no, the Attorney General has not done anything to taint his credibility. He's not done anything unlawful, and that the various incidents which occurred, including this supposed meeting between Mr. Japa and the Attorney General, was not intentional. It was accidental. He did not go to the judge's house with the intention to meet Mr. Japa. He just happened to be there. What's your take on this? The ladies are here to talk to us on these topics. So that's our first topic. And then, of course, we'll be talking about the Snit Hotel sale. So this has been in the news for some time now, and the latest news coming in is that the president has directed the employment minister to meet with organized labor for further discussions on the matter. The ladies are here and ready to take a bite on these issues. First, Nanaya Achimpim Jantwa, Executive Secretary of COSECA and political analyst, and the former General Secretary of the CPT. Somebody may come back. Yes, ma'am. Nanaya, great to have you in the studios. You're welcome. We missed you last week.
Yeah, you've missed me for almost 3 weeks.
Is that so?
They didn't recognize it.
No, last 2 weeks you were here. No, actually you weren't. That's true. I think I watched you. Yes, it's been 3 weeks. It's been exactly 3 weeks. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
We missed you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
When you miss somebody, you look for them.
We'll do better. It's great to have you. Also in the studio this morning, Beatrice Annan Esquire, communications team member of the NDC. Hello, Beatrice.
Hello, now.
How are you?
Well, I can't complain.
You're also a member of the NDC legal team, is that correct? Yes. I heard you speaking very eloquently on a subject on radio last night, and I've been looking forward to hearing you speak today on the show.
Let's see how it goes.
It's great to have you.
It's great to be here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Laura Musa Saka, NPP National Communications team member, is also here with us. Hi, Laura. Love the color.
Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Same here.
And good morning. We haven't seen you in a while.
Yes, I've been around.
You've been around, but you've not been coming to us.
Oh, but there are a number of us. So there are a number of us.
There are a number of
There's
us.
There's always a rep.
But we like you, so we want to be seeing more of you. Extend us the same love.
Once I'm deployed here, why not? I'll be here.
Yes, but we want you to make it a choice. I'm coming on New Day. Anyway, okay. Let's get straight to the issues.
Well noted.
Let's get straight to the issues. Beatrice, I'm glad you're here because this is a legal issue. Now, the NPP is saying that all of the accusations that have been leveled against Godfrey Dami are accusations. You cannot be calling for his dismissal when there hasn't been an investigation into the matter, and he hasn't done anything to taint his credibility. What do you say to that?
I think that, now, first of all, I want to correct you on the introduction.
Okay.
The call for the resignation of the Attorney General is not done by only the minority.
Okay.
You have senior lawyers who are not partisan calling for the resignation of the Attorney General. So I'd rather we rephrase that Ghanaians or reasonable Ghanaians are calling for the resignation of the Attorney General.
Okay.
And rightly so, because you see, we are in a profession that is heavily regulated. Lawyers are deemed to be in a certain status in society. And however rich a businessman is, however wealthy a medical doctor is, however affluent and influential someone is, at a certain point in time, they will need a lawyer. In fact, even lawyers themselves, when they find themselves in trouble, they must find another lawyer. So sometimes, even amongst us, when a lawyer is very good, you hear us give the person accolade, the lawyer's lawyer. Because for a lawyer to ask that another lawyer should represent him or her, then it means that that lawyer is worth his or her salt.
Okay.
Now, what we have is that when you are a lawyer, you are subject to the ethical rules of practice. And those ethical rules are guided by laws. They are not just moral or they are not just opinionated. No. They are guided by strict rules. And in Ghana, we have the LI 2423. That is what governs the actions of lawyers. It is instructive to say that that LI mandates every lawyer that you should not communicate or deal with any person in the matter who is represented by a lawyer. And a breach of the LI will lead to what we call a disciplinary actions. Lawyers have been disbarred permanently. Their licenses have been taken for some of these things. But the standard is even higher when you are the lawyer for the government.
For the country, really?
No, if you are the lawyer for the government, by way of being, or the country or the state. So by way of being a state attorney, a DPP or whatever. But when you even become the attorney general, then the standard becomes highest. Because in our jurisdiction here, the attorney general is not just the attorney general, but it's also the minister of justice. And the rule is that if you are a minister of justice and an attorney general for that matter, your aim, and it's a principle of law everywhere in the world, that your aim is not to get conviction. Your aim is to get justice, even if the heaven falls. And so when you are even an attorney general and you are trying someone for murder, and in the course of the trial, you come across what we call evidence that will set the person free. In law, we say exculpatory. You are duty bound to bring that evidence for the person to walk free.
Even as a prosecutor?
Even as a prosecutor. That because we say that it is better for 1,000 guilty people to be walking the streets than for one innocent man to be found in prison. Because it is more dangerous to take an innocent person to prison than to not to have evidence and assume that somebody is guilty. But what we have in Ghana today is an attorney general who is practicing law in very unethical way. And you see, when we talk about Godfrey Dame, we must talk about Godfrey Dame with all the pain we can muster.
Why? Because
he's in the habit of engaging in very unethical practice.
What do you mean habit?
I'll prove it. Godfrey Dame wants to win every case to satisfy his ego and conscience. So it matters not the length he will go. We did a case with Godfrey Dame.
That's a very serious pronouncement.
We did a case with Godfrey Dame in the extinct cubic case. In court, he passed very unpalatable comment. The rule of the game was that evidence, and it would have been our word against his word, so we kept quiet. But we knew a day like this would come. Recently, Martin Pebu said in the presence of his client, the Attorney General told him that you people are lucky. I added DSP Agozo to the kitchen knife coup case so that the case can gain some credibility.
We don't have evidence of that.
He said it. He said it. He said it on your very platform here. And so you can see that consistently, Godfred Dame has practiced a certain attitude, and he didn't think that one day his cup will be full. What are we talking about?
So this is based on your personal encounters with him?
Yes. In the Acting Cupid case, it was my personal encounter.
Your personal encounter
yes.
with him.
And the attorney, in fact, at the time, he was even a deputy attorney general, and the court had to expunge some of his submissions.
Why?
Because those things are scandalous, frivolous, and vexatious. They cannot be on record. So you see, at the time Godfred Dame called Mr. Richard Jakpa, he knew that Mr. Richard Jakpa was represented by a lawyer called Mr. Tadiosori.
They are saying that Tadiosori did not represent him at the time.
It's a lie.
And that at that time he was unrepresented because he changed his counsel.
It's a lie. You see,
times.
This audio we are talking about happened on 9th April. The court records will reflect that as at 9th April, Mr. Jakpa was represented. But let me take this. The Attorney General is confusing two things. You know that he and Mr. Jakpa has been meeting in the house of a Supreme Court judge. So when the NDC raised the issue, he honestly believed that the audio that was going to be produced in evidence was the meeting between himself, the Supreme Court judge, and Mr. Jakpa. They have even mentioned the Supreme Court judge.
The explanation that we have just on the
it's not the
meeting of the Supreme
explanation.
Court judge. Apparently,
that's not the point.
He did not go there to meet Mr. Jakpa.
It doesn't matter.
He went
That's
there
not
and
the
Mr.
point.
Jakpa also arrived
the point
there.
is that when the NDC alleged that he's been communicating with the accused person,
yes,
he thought it was that meeting. So whether he went there on his own, on the invitation of Mr. Jakpa, or however, it is immaterial. So he came out to quickly admit that, oh, if the NDC is saying that I communicate with the third accused person, then I do that in the house of a Supreme Court judge with the intention of throwing the Supreme Court judge under the bus. What we are saying, because the NDC never mentioned a Supreme Court judge, what the NDC mentioned was the record of proceedings in court. What we are saying is that Godfred Dame spoke to the gentleman A3 on the day he was supposed to open his case, which was 9th April. At the time of speaking to him, he knew very well that Mr. Tadiosori, who is so popular, whose number is available to every lawyer, is the one representing Mr. Jakpa. Now, the Attorney General says three things, which will let you know that he knew very well the gentleman was represented. First of all, he sought to present his theory of the case and was seeking to compel Mr. Jakpa to accept his version and say that when you give the testimony in this way...
Are you referring to the phone call?
Yes, with the phone call. When you give the testimony in this way, it will not affect your case. The Supreme Court judge was not there. The audio that we played, very clear, and everybody will hear. The man said something. He said that, I believe I'm innocent, and I'm going through this ordeal. So I cannot for my life falsify any evidence or account against Mr. Atoforson, because I can understand that he probably will be going through the same feeling I'm going through. Then he said, oh, you know what? I don't even know whether we are being recorded or not.
Yeah.
But me, I'm traveling. So go for a fake medical report if you are not sick. In fact, Mr. Jakpa didn't even hear that part well. So he saw clarification and said, would you be the one to bring the medical reports? And then he said, no, you go for it. You, Jakpa, go for it. And he said, me, I don't want to go for it. If I go for it, the judge will issue a bench warrant against me. So you have an attorney general who, first of all, is telling a witness who he's prosecuting for a crime to go and commit another crime.
What crime will that be?
Falsification of documents. That is a crime. And even presenting that to the court is another crime, which is misleading the court and lying to a public officer, which is another crime. And so you are prosecuting a man for a crime, and then you are asking the man to go and commit another crime. In fact, he himself, his action, by talking to the witness and telling the witness to accept his version of the story, is in itself a crime. Section 213 of the Criminal Offences Act, Act 29, is a crime.
What is the name of that crime?
It is falsification of evidence. If you falsify evidence.
And talking to a represented person is also a crime.
It's an ethical breach. That is an ethical
of the legal profession.
Now,
the MPP is saying that that audio which you are referring to was doctored, and that is not a fair representation of what actually happened.
You see, for us to say something is doctored in law, it presupposes that there is the original. Because if you are not privy to the original, you cannot say that one is doctored. First of all, the MPP press statement exemplifies three things. One, they did not dispute and they did not deny that Godfrey Dame spoke to a witness which was unethical and criminal. That they did not deny. In the press conference, nowhere did they deny. What they are denying is that even though Godfrey Dame was so unethical and was engaged in the criminal conduct of, trying to compel a witness to falsify evidence, the fact as presented by the witness is not true. We plead with the MPP. Can they please bring the original audio? Because the Attorney General also says that he has some recordings available. He even claims videos. The NDC dared him to produce that in 24 hours, 72. We are in almost about a week now and we don't have anything. What is the original video? But concluding, now what we should be worried about is the kind of justice system the MPP has created. We have seen Kufuor's government before.
Why are you saying the MPP has created?
Yes, so let me show you. We have seen Kufuor's government before.
But the AG is not lawyer for the MPP.
The AG is an appointee of the MPP.
But his lawyer
in fact,
for the state.
this AG has behaved like an MPP foot soldier.
Foot soldier?
Yes. So let me show you. When you are an Attorney General, we've seen Joe Garte before. We've seen Attorney Generals under the MPP, even under Nanado. We saw Gloria Kufu. You know, when you are an Attorney General, you don't think on partisan lines. You think in relation to the state. So you are to advise the president, this action you are taking is not good. This is the implication, this is the effect. So when you have an Attorney General so bold to come out to admit that, yes, I have been meeting a Supreme Court judge.
By accident.
Admit by accident.
He said he did not intend to go to that house.
Did you listen to Jackson? He said, just like we have been meeting in Kulendi's house.
What? That's hearsay. That's what he says.
Which hearsay?
That's what he says.
What is hearsay?
That's what he says.
You must be careful how you use the word.
That's what he says.
That's what who says.
And that's what Mr. Jackpa says.
So what is the AG saying?
Well, we don't know.
Yes.
What we know for now is that,
in fact, do you know, Nashoko, you are a law student. Do you know that when a witness gives a testimony in court and that testimony is not objected to, it remains the testimony?
Must it be objected to immediately?
Yes.
Immediately?
Yes. When you are raising objection in court, the law says, Section 6 of the Evidence Act says that you must raise objection in the matter of course. What it means is law is that as soon as I speak, you rise on your feet.
Is there room? Is there room for an objection?
Please, there is no room again.
There's no room.
There is no room.
So at this
anywhere.
point, the AG cannot object
raise
anything that has been said.
Never. He
All
cannot.
right, interesting.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that initially I was angry at the action.
Okay.
But now, Shoko,
I need to move on to
where I am now is a state of sadness.
You're sad.
Every citizen should be worried that you have a justice system where a judge will be so comfortable to call an Attorney General to do whatever it is with the case. So if you have a case against the state for something that the state has done against you, where is your guarantee that the heart of the judge, which is the wig, which is so long, which signifies that the judge sees and hears nothing except the evidence before the judge, so that irrespective of your background, you can get justice. Now, the Attorney General is telling us that a good lawyer, when we were in law school, I'm sure you read Granville Williams, the first thing you'll be told is that a good lawyer is the one who knows where to find the law, and not even the one who knows the law. In Godfrey Dami, as leader of the bar, he's telling all the young lawyers that a good lawyer is the one who knows a superior court judge. It is a shame. We can never stop talking about this. It is so scary. You should be worried.
All right.
We should all be. What is happening?
I don't think the Attorney General said that. I don't think he has suggested that.
Must he suggest
that a good lawyer is one who knows a superior court judge?
But what
I don't think he has said that or suggested that.
But what do you think he has done?
Point.
What do you think he has done? I want to know.
No,
your
I'm
opinion.
responding to what you said.
No, but I want to know your opinion.
I don't
what
know
do you
what
think
he has done. But
you can't say what you don't know.
But my opinion doesn't matter. But
no, it should matter.
I don't see a representation by the AG that a good lawyer is the one who knows a superior court judge. So let me just move
what
on
do you
to.
see?
Let me just move on to.
I want to know what
I don't
you
speak
see.
for the AG. Let me go on to Laura too. Laura too. In spite of all the evidence against the Attorney General in this matter, since he is not on trial, but in this matter, the MPP is saying that his credibility is still very much intact.
Good morning. Good morning to our
Do you
viewers.
truly believe this to be true?
Nah.
Yes.
I mean, if we are talking about anything shameful here, is the conjecturing of a lawyer in your studios today. But I must admit that she's toned down on her Choba analysis of this issue.
Her Choba analysis?
Yes. Her Choba analysis of this. She knows what I'm talking about. Her Choba analysis of this issue.
I will respond because obviously she doesn't know what she's going to say.
We can have a clear thing.
She doesn't appreciate
you see,
law.
the inconsistency of the NDC is what makes some of these issues difficult to come to a logical conclusion. She mentioned Honorable Jogati. This is not the first time the NDC is going after an Attorney General.
Okay.
The NDC Virginia chapter wrote a whole statement in October 2017 accusing Honorable Jogati of anything and insisting that he should be removed. For today, she's citing Honorable Jogati.
Was it unfounded?
Did he talk to witnesses?
Was it unfounded?
No, she said they've seen Honorable Jogati. I'm telling you, this is not the first time they are going after an AG in this frivolous manner. But you see, when you have a group of people who profess to have the interest of this nation at heart, but the only reason they shout is not about the country, it's not about the next generation, it's just about votes that they are looking for, then we have a problem.
What are you talking about?
Beatrice started by saying the law profession, it's a very well-regulated profession.
Yeah.
In fact, the AG is the only government functionary or state functionary whose role is stipulated in our 1992 Constitution, Article 88. So that shows you how important. So when you have NDC throwing in all kinds of things, well-meaning Ghanaians who assume that this group of people, having been in government before, should know what the issues are, would definitely come out and make statements with regards to that, because it's what virtually holds our justice system. We've even had conversations over the years about decoupling the Ministry of Justice from the Attorney General's office, so he or she can concentrate. But those have been conversations going on over the years. Let's go to what the issue is. What has brought all this diversionary tactics? What has brought all this issue? It's the alleged causing financial loss to the states with their minority leader, Honorable Atofosin, being caught. That's what the issue is. All this diversionary and all these issues of trying to move away from trying to get the state's due.
No,
for someone
what
who
has
is
brought these
accused.
conversations about is a testimony in court by
Yes.
Mr. Richard Japa,
Yes.
saying that Attorney General had been contacting him.
And the testimony was made in which regard?
Yes,
What brought about the testimony?
In this case, but the point...
What brought about the
It
testimony?
was during
Nana?
the trial, but the
Exactly.
point is that
The trial of
the
what?
testimony is significant.
No, the trial of what?
Yes, of the ambulance saga, but this
Yes.
testimony
But
is
Beatrice
significant.
will come and sit here and say, oh, Godfrey Dami wants to win every case. Which lawyer goes to court and wants to go and lose? Or because he won a case against her, it's become a personal vendetta.
No.
If the NDC is
I
really...
believe what she's saying is that...
You can't say
yes,
what she
yes,
said. She sat
yes.
here and
But she spoke
conjectured
about-
and presumed what?
Yes, but she spoke about the need
acted
for
as a
justice
prophetess and presumed
and not
what
for
people
winning.
is thinking. People are thinking, even without knowing what is in the people's head. That's what she's done here as a lawyer. That's what she's done here. She just sat here and conjectured and spoken like a lay person, just like me. So what's the difference between Beatrice and I?
Please, you
She
haven't
being a
said
lawyer
anything.
who,
I can't
stops,
speak
who
like
stops
you.
every
You
point,
haven't
at
said
every
anything.
point to tell everybody in this world that she's a lawyer, but will sit here and conjecture and make false accusations as a lawyer.
Let's stay
then
on
we are
subject.
serious.
Let's stay on subject.
So you talked about the testimony. What's the testimony? The testimony came about of the trial of Honorable Atufosen, alleged to have caused financial loss to the state, giving LCs that for ambulances that we couldn't use. This whole thing started with the current Speaker of Parliament when he was Minister of Health. The one who took over from him, late Honorable Sharia Ite, stop this. But the Deputy Minister then thought he could sit in his office and issue those things. But that's not the truth. They've said a lot of things. They've said the AG has denied these things. Come out. You go and bring a tape. Initially, they said the tape was what, 26 minutes? If you piece what they play together, and if they really meant well, I think the chairman should have just stopped with the narratives and all that, and let us all follow what it is. But you see, for me, you don't just go and say what you want to say. They are the same people who say what? You are not guilty until proven guilty, right? You've laid accusations by virtue of the fact that, like, to go back to Beatrice's own, she's been in court with him. He always wants to win his cases, which I don't think is a crime. But these are accusations you are leveling against the AG, the highest person when it comes to the bar, the one who doubles as the Minister of Justice. If the NDC really means well for this country, and to go back to her own statement of the legal profession being a very regulated, what do? You go through the right process. You don't come and start to press conference. And I've always maintained it. These are the reasons why we never get a logical conclusion to it, because they become I catch you kind of minority. They want to be the one leveling the accusation. They want to be the judge. They want to be the jury. It's like,
so
once they decide that this person is wrong, it doesn't matter. They come in even before the issues are established.
So you
They want
believe
to
the
judge
AG
them.
should
I
be
believe
investigated?
There should be an investigation into this.
Okay.
Why not? There should be.
Have you listened
Because
to the tape?
if you, of course, they
Okay.
played it all over this country.
Okay.
There was nowhere you pass and you wouldn't hear it. And they have their own versions of it too. But the fundamental thing is, this AG, in all this, has saved this country a lot. Well, not long ago, we were talking about the 10 trillion that he saved this country out of judgment debts and all that. You see, they started panicking because, for me, I think that it's like after bastardizing the bench and trying to run them, now they feel like, okay, we can't succeed there. So now let's attack the office of the attorney. That is how I feel. And that has always been
In spite
the
of the live testimony which was given in court, you think this is the NDC's agenda?
The AG's office, the AG maintains that the time that he spoke to this accused person, he didn't have a representative. She spoke about court records. Where are the timestamps? She should provide them. But now you've put the man out there. You think he should bring all his documentation together, knowing what you want to do? There should be an investigation. That's the fundamental thing.
Would you agree that one
Yes.
thing that makes this whole testimony believable is that there was no objection in court?
There was
The
no-
AG did not object to it in court.
So the fact that he didn't object to it in court means that we should
It
swallow
means
it
that it has
hook,
become
line,
the
and
court
sinker.
record.
Yes, but so we should swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
But
And did
if
you hear,
something
did you hear
untrue
what the
is
judge?
said-
Did you hear what the judge in charge of the case said?
What did he say?
We can do all our politics out of it, but the law will have a say on the issue.
Where did the judge
You
say
get
that?
it.
I see.
Where did
We'll
the
have
judge
this
say
issue
that?
on that.
I
Please,
see.
If you go to court and you don't pay attention and you come in and
But-
come and conjecture,
but
let's be
Laura,
the lay people who use our common sense to understand these things. Say what
Laura,
we
my
have to say.
question
Yes,
to you
please.
is that if someone says something untrue about you in
Yes.
court and you are present and you don't object to it, what does that suggest?
What was he doing? He was cross-examining him. Having they now started cross-examinations and all that. Wasn't in the when you are submitting all dockets and all that, what they call it, the annexes and all that, are your evidence not attached to it?
No.
And all that.
No, the question
But
I'm
this
asking
whole-
you
yes.
is,
You
see,
understand what
statement is
Come
made.
on.
A statement
Who
is
doesn't
made
understand what
against
it-
you
I
in
take great
court,
exception to
and
that
you are present.
statement and you
You
need to
don't
retract.
object to it.
Come again.
A statement is made against you in court. You are present. You don't object to it. It goes onto the record.
Was it the final day of court?
No, it's not the final day of
Yes.
court. The trial is still ongoing.
The trial is
But we are
still
just
ongoing.
learning that
It
if you
hasn't
don't
ended, right?
object to a statement made against you, then you're accepting it to be the fact.
But you see,
give you
the
the
issue
authority.
here now is, apart from this trial going on, which will still go on, and we'll get to there. Okay, what the NDC is virtually avoiding is a 2-0.
What's
And
that?
when I say a 2-0, you see,
What's a 2-0?
they come in and accuse everybody of doing wrong.
I have
But
an
yet,
answer for
they are not able to get evidence or even bring anybody to court. All the things that Beatrice said here today, what evidence did she provide? A number of times you said, we don't have evidence. She just conjectured as a lawyer.
What did I
Right?
conjecture? Is everything
Making
all right?
all her own assumptions, her own opinions.
What did I conjecture?
You get it. You asked her.
Beatrice,
we don't
please allow
have.
her to speak.
Of course, she knows that.
No, but
what I'm
she-
saying is
allow
that
her-
she
should be
came.
correcting
No,
her.
allow,
You see,
allow
when
her to speak.
someone
I'll
is
allow
saying-
you.
No, you
I'll allow
should
you
be
the
correcting
opportunity
her.
to rebut if you don't
if
agree
you
with
allow
anything
me
that
the
she has said.
opportunity to
I
rebut,
most
then I'll
certainly
keep
will.
quiet.
But
You asked her a
Laura,
number
to
of
back
times.
to the matter.
You see, what I'm saying is, the accusations against the AG. He's also giving his stance to that. The time that he engaged this gentleman, the gentleman didn't have a lawyer.
But the gentleman's representative says he had a lawyer. That you're sorry.
At that time, how many lawyers has the gentleman changed? Has lawyer Tadiosori been his lawyer throughout this case?
No, he hasn't been his lawyer throughout. But
So
Laura,
there were points in time
you're
that
saying
he
that
didn't have a lawyer.
You're saying that you
No,
find.
now let's establish that.
Yes, there are times when he changed his lawyer.
Yes,
but
so
we don't know that there are times when he didn't have a lawyer.
Let's establish this fact.
Yes, but changing lawyers doesn't mean that you did not have a lawyer
listen.
at some point. Is that what it means?
But changing a lawyer, if today I have a lawyer today, then I leave here in 2 hours and I go and change the lawyer. Within the 2 hours, did I have a lawyer?
No, but
Exactly.
we don't know.
So
we
if
don't
we establish-
we don't know
Of course.
how it happened.
So we don't
So
know.
if
There
your
are lots of
point
things-
is that
there are lots of
he
things we
changed
don't know.
lawyers, it doesn't mean that he didn't have a lawyer.
Now, there are lots of things we don't know. What is the best way to do it? Investigate. Everybody should bring what they have.
Okay,
This
speaking
is
of
not-
everybody
this
bringing what they
approach-
have.
This approach.
The MPP say
yes.
that the tape was doctored. It's an unfair representation. In fact, a false representation of what actually happened. Do you have the actual tape?
Do I have the actual
The
tape
NPP.
as me?
The NPP. Do you have the actual tape? You believe the tape that has been released was doctored.
Yes.
And to come to that conclusion that it was doctored, you must have the actual one to know that this one is a doctored one.
When you have an original document or you have evidence, do you just put it out there?
I don't understand.
Just because the NDC is going on a wild goose chase, we should also throw all those things.
No, you prove your innocence.
You prove your innocence where?
Yes. If you come to a press conference
Prove
to
your
say,
innocence where?
if you hold a press conference to say,
At a press conference.
if you find it necessary,
Yes.
to hold a
We should
press
prove,
conference
the
to
age's
say,
innocence at a
to
press
say
conference.
that a tape is
That's what I want
doctored,
to establish.
then perhaps at that same press conference you release the original to prove that your point that is doctored is a correct one, that you are telling us the truth.
Now, we have a justice system for a reason. We had to do that because the NDC went on the propaganda route. If today I sit here and say that Beatrice has misconducted herself as a lawyer, I've said mine. That is my opinion. That is what I think. Just like she said, they met the Attorney General in a court and he said certain things and all that, and he always wants to win his case. That is her opinion. But to determine that Beatrice has misconducted herself, she's a member of the Bar Association, isn't it? That is where we go. That is why I'm saying that.
That's not where
if they
we
really,
go. You have to correct it.
that's
To the General Legal Council.
That's not
Look,
where
I mean, I'll
General
come to
Legal
you.
Council.
I'll come to
She's
you.
a
I'll
member.
come to you.
She's a member. She's
I'll
a member
come to you,
of. She's a
Nana.
member of the Ghana Bar Association. Doesn't Ghana Bar Association has some?
They have a disciplinary
commitment?
committee.
Exactly.
They
But-
don't have a disciplinary
Don't they have
committee.
They don't have a
Don't
disciplinary
they have
committee.
some?
It is the GLC who disciplines lawyers. Let's not put our
course.
No, what I'm
misinformation
saying
out
is,
there.
if you
course.
are part
Laura
of
too.
an
I'll respond
association,
to
Laura
those.
if you are part of an association,
too.
well, I don't blame Beatrice with what she's saying, because she herself has said on live TV that I'm not one. It's a word that the Ghana Bar Association. I'm still surprised they haven't even taken.
Before I come to
that the
Nanaya,
Ghana Bar
before I
Association
come
is
to
the most
Nanaya.
useless.
What?
She said on live
yes.
TV.
What did you
that
say?
The Ghana. I said she said on live TV.
That's what?
She would debunk everything, because I
That's
I will
what?
not
believe.
debunk that.
I believe.
She said that what?
Now let me make my point.
Okay.
I believe that when you're part of an association and you are misconducting yourself, the association should have a certain level of discretion when it comes to these things. I mean, the General Legal Council is there, all right, and all that. But this is the same person. You dismiss that the Ghana Bar Association, because she, as a lawyer,
What is
has sat
Laura
on
to
live
say?
TV and said that the Ghana Bar Association is the most useless bar association in this country. She has said it.
I see.
You get it. So some of these, for me, you do those things, because if you also
Laura,
don't
please land for
counter,
me.
you also don't counter those things that they are saying, but you just don't put everything out there.
But why is
Our
the
people-
NPP countering what the NDC is saying about the
Why
Attorney
shouldn't the
General?
NPP
Does the NPP speak for the Attorney General?
When this issue started, when they started making this issue, if the NDC, right, or
Nana, I'll come to you in a minute.
the accused person, all those people making this accusation. But when a political party decides that let's throw all our systems and procedures away and go on a propaganda route, you need to stop them in their tracks and get them back to how things are done in this country.
But
How do
you are speaking for the Attorney General. Why is the NPP
I'm not
speaking for the Attorney General?
The Attorney General.
Not you, but the party held a press conference in
Yes.
defense
The party
of the Attorney General.
the party held a press conference in reaction to what? The press conference of the NPP.
All
Whether
right,
you-
Nanaya.
whether you like it or not, the government comes on the shoulders of a political. But
All
the
right.
moment you decide to make it partisan, when
All
there are
right.
procedures to follow for a proper
All right.
conclusion to these issues, you equally be met with that.
All
measure.
right, Nanaya.
Now you've now remembered that.
No, I've always known that you're here.
I even lost my thoughts.
So, start from the beginning.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning to your viewers. Good morning to yourself. Good morning to my sister. You see, it's very unfortunate for Lara to say that Beatrice's arguments are choba. But you see, choba is where you have the sweetest soup.
Nanaya, let me clarify
And
that. She said the
I want
AG
to- I
should
want
be
to-
leading a choba. She's the one who said it.
I want to also say that
Yes, so
this
don't
morning we
say it's unfortunate.
should put credit where credit is due. For the first time, I regretted not doing the law that I was supposed to do
It's not too late. So
because
Nana, you
I
can
saw
come.
the sweet fragrance of law being exhibited by Beatrice this morning, and I'm being very, you know me, I'm an honest person. I'm being very honest. I mean, she puts everything in its perspective. And I think we have to, give honor where honor is due. Me, this whole business that is going on, I don't even understand it. Because now the point is, how did a prosecutor, how did it happen that a prosecutor meets the accused? I'm not a lawyer, but the chief lawyer the chief prosecutor, they don't have any, they are not supposed to have any contact. The intermediary between the two of them is the lawyer Thaddeus, sorry. So for the Attorney General to breach that process, that alone is problematic. For him to breach it and speak directly to an accused person, it's problematic. Because you don't break barriers like that. Let's put everything aside. You don't break barriers like that. If you even need information, the lawyer should be present.
Mm-hmm.
And also something as scandalous as this. You see, if you are in court and you want to raise an objection, you do it immediately. So the judge will decide whether he or she will agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Or otherwise. So if an objection is raised and the judge agrees, then the witness can continue. If I'm wrong, Beatrice will tell me. But if the judge denies it, then that is it. So I think the other way, if the judge denies the reason of the objection, then it means that the witness cannot continue with whatever he or she is saying. So he did not say anything. Whether a tape is doctored or not, I think we should get to the bottom of this. They are voice experts. You just take a sample of the voice of the Attorney General. Take example of the voice of the third accused. Then we just oppose it. If the voice experts at the police headquarters, Ghana, we have everything. So the voice experts can determine, getting to the bottom of this matter. I am surprised the president hasn't spoken.
What do you want the president to
Yes,
say?
because this is something that is the core of justice and he's a lawyer.
The Attorney General himself hasn't spoken.
But the point is that he appointed him. Let's assume he's the one in the middle of everything. What is the president saying about this? Because justice is in his bosom. He's the one who can free prisoners on 6 March. From you and me to be free, for you and me to be killed, capital punishment. Who signs the document? And this is the Minister for Justice. You see, this is not a joke that we are saying, MPP saying this, NDC saying, no. We shouldn't even play it like that. This is at the heart of the nation. How many people are in court because evidence has been manipulated? Are in prison because evidence has been manipulated? How many people? If that is the modus operandi of the MPP, then it's very serious.
Why are you saying the MPP? This is an allegation against the Attorney General.
But he's an MPP. But now, how can you tell me why is he there? Then they should come and pick me or come and pick
But he's not there to do the bidding of the MPP.
I am saying that he should come and take me or go and take my sister Amma, who worked in the Attorney General's office for some to be the Attorney General. If it is a neutral listing, you see, these are some of the areas in the Constitution that has to be amended, that has to be changed. The Attorney General should not be appointed by a party, a president.
Who should appoint the Attorney General?
The people of Ghana.
We should vote.
No vote. You just go for an interview. We have to advertise it. Everybody will see it. There's a panel of maybe lawyers and judges to interview your peers. They interview you, go through PSC. Then you swear before Parliament. Your allegiance is to the people of Ghana because Parliament is the people of Ghana. Do you get me? So in your execution, you know that I am dealing with the people of Ghana.
Those appointments committee or?
Yes, it does.
The Attorney General.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
Parliament?
Yes. Do you get me? So
Yes.
I said swear. You swear an oath of allegiance.
He's even vetted.
Do you get me?
It's vetted.
Yes, you swear an oath of allegiance to the people of Ghana in front of Parliament, the Speaker.
The Attorney General does that.
No, it's the President. Now it's the President. He takes his letters of credence from the President.
It goes over it in
But
Parliament.
it has to go.
Parliament has to approve it.
That is the few members of Parliament. The swearing. That is where I'm saying that I am doing this ABCD. Make sure that I provide justice.
The Attorney General doesn't swear.
No, he does. When
He does, yeah.
Yeah, he goes to the president.
Okay, so
to
you're...
take his, but they should swear before Parliament.
Okay, and that makes what difference?
That makes a difference that you are speaking to the people of Ghana.
But
do you understand it? You swear an oath before Parliament. You don't go to the president that you have appointed me.
So you believe that if he swears before Parliament,
he goes through the process.
It will change the potential partisan nature of...
So after the vetting and everything, the person
might not even go through vetting. After he's gone through the Public Services Commission, appointed as a public servant, a senior lawyer, public servant, he swears before Parliament because of the sensitivity of his job. Because you see, what Beatrice is saying that Godfrey Odame wants to win by all means is because of the partisan nature. Somebody has to be put in prison by all means to prove that a party is corrupt. So in that case, you're under pressure to win the case. Maybe, just maybe, if Godfrey Odame was not political, if he wasn't partisan, he would look at it with a legal lens. But
you don't think he's doing that?
But how can this thing come up? I mean, what was they even doing in the Supreme Court judge's house?
The Attorney General can visit a Superior Court judge.
But I am saying that what are the coincidences? I mean, the coincidence is unnerving.
You don't believe it?
No, I'm saying it's unnerving. The third accused is there, then Attorney General 2 enters. Do you understand me? How did it happen? But you see, that is a very sensitive this thing. When the president appoints you, I think we should look at our constitution holistically. But the point is also that this bus or whatever it is, ambulance saga.
Ambulance.
It has been there for some time. It wasn't a saga when Ato Forson wasn't leader. Was it up? I think this thing started when he became a leader.
What are you saying?
I'm just trying to say that if Ato Forson wasn't leader,
that it has become such a big deal now.
Yeah, because he's a leader.
Is a minority leader.
Yes. Because this thing happened somewhere in 2015. And he was a member of Parliament 2017.
Which is also a high office.
But he was there, just talking finance. Now he's become the leader. He has to lead the opposition in Parliament to do certain things, to exact their power or their mettle as opposition in Parliament. So
and you think that's what's driving the Attorney General's actions?
But what is it? Because all these things, all these things, what is it? I'm asking you. All these things that are going on, what is it? No, let's be fair.
No, you're right.
What is because you see, I've even heard that the people who brought
before he became leader.
The people who brought them.
Yes, that's what she said.
Who brought the buses? Sorry, the ambulances. They are saying that if you don't want the things, come and get your money. What do we need? Now our CD is like this, 15.6 to $1. Somebody is bringing you money, $2.something billion. Come take the money. Let me take my goods away. I don't want trouble. Why are you continuing with the trial? It's money we want. For me, all these prosecutions, if the person can bring us the money, we need money to develop this country. And somebody I heard, if I'm wrong, they should correct me. That right. I am ready to pay. Yes, take the money. Bring me my goods. The goods are sitting there. I like them. Somebody else also wants it. Why are we not taking the money and forgetting about the case?
So we should take the money and discontinue the trial.
We need the money. You say causing financial loss. Now the loss, the person who has supplied you said your loss, I am ready to take care of your loss. That's all. Why do you even go and put somebody in prison and say that tomorrow
for wrongdoing? If they are seen to have done wrong, my dear, if they are found guilty, my dear, then whether or not my dear, I am the money has been gotten back. You see, if someone is found guilty, then they are guilty of the crime.
We don't want to go into the merits of the case, but in public service, if your boss approves something for you to work on, it has been approved. So the person who should be standing there should be your boss.
Yeah.
Because when Setepe went to court, what did he say? He said he approved it. He approved the issuance. We don't want to go into the merit. The judge has advised us. But I'm saying that if your boss, now I know what I'm talking. I've been there before. If your boss,
you've been where?
If your boss approves approve something for you,
Okay.
It is your boss. Because he said, go do this. You can even question your boss. But if your boss still says that, go and do it because ABC, you've gone through processes, there's not much you can say.
All right.
Do you understand me?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
All
So
right.
I am saying that
We are trying the wrong person. The wrong people.
No, but because if the approval has been given, and if I go there, I'm going into the merit, so let's leave it.
Okay.
But I am saying that this thing about voice and whatever, you see, if it was in America, me, I'm not a lawyer, but there will be a mistrial.
All right, let me read some messages coming in. Now, nobody in Ghana today trusts our judicial system. A fair trial has been thrown to the dogs. The Attorney General has become an MPP executor. He flips and flops like a toddler. Lorato should fall on her knees and pray for forgiveness, okay, for not seeing anything wrong with what the AG has done. And this is from Chris, texting us from Ashalibuche. Okay, more messages coming in. Musa Abatwa in Asawasi says, good morning, Na. And your respected panelists, especially Beatrice and Nanaya Jantoa. As a communication expert, I took time listening to all the MPP communicators, and I really get worried and disturbed the kind of communication theories they are using in defending the Attorney General's matter. I asked myself, why are we using taxpayers' money to pay these people who are working in the PR department of the Attorney General's office? Why are MPP communicators the ones defending the indefensible? All right. The ingredients of a court case is the most important thing. Has someone caused financial loss to the state or not? That is what Ghanaians want to know. Someone calling another outside the courts to do, etc., has to do with work ethics. Let's deal with the main matter and stop the diversionary tactics. And that's from Master Planner Junior, texting from Kintampo. And I'll read one last one and come to you, Beatrice. Good morning. Now, the MPP hadn't said the tape was doctored. If the MPP hadn't said the tape was doctored, we would have been disappointed. It was an expected response. But when the tape is doctored, it means there's an original which is not doctored. If the MPP claim it was doctored, they have the original. If they claim there was no tape, so how come now they say there's an original which was doctored? The MPP should stop making it look like they are the only ones who are intelligent in Ghana. In fact, where is their video which they claimed last Friday they had of Honorable Atto begging Dami to stop the case? We can't be continued to be taken for fools. All right. Okay, I knew I said it was the last one, but this is the last one. Evans Danku says, good morning. Now, please correct the impression for Ghanaians to understand where the MPP is coming from. Lorato and her MPP are denying that the voice of Godfred Dami is in the audio, but that the tape was doctored. We don't need voice experts to determine an undisputable tap. What we need is a computer expert to tally whether or not the audio is doctored, period. All right. Beatrice.
Yeah, now, you know, this morning, Lorato has sought to undertake a very difficult exercise. If you studied, the Attorney General is in the habit of granting interviews after court. He would normally speak. I remember the Atto Asian matter or his deputy. They will speak. The Attorney General wants to speak. He likes to talk to the media. He sometimes even invites the media to the office to talk. In this matter we are talking about, every lawyer, every reasonable Ghanaian, every right-thinking member of society appreciates the gravity and the fact that it has an effect on the justice delivery system. So the Attorney General is not speaking, but speaking through the surrogates, either through the deputy who issued the statement or through the spokesperson. So to invite Lorato to defend the Attorney General is a difficult job. The whole Attorney General and leader of the bar could not defend himself. You think Lorato can do a better job? No. So to be fair to her, she's not a lawyer. She may not appreciate the nuances because some of the things she was saying was neither here nor there. But I will not waste my time. We have a short time. I have here with me a case where in Aya and Akapo versus Aya Idrisu, it's a Supreme Court decision. The court held that by Section 6(1) of the Evidence Act, a party should object to evidence at a time it is offered. If a party looked on and allow the inadmissible evidence to pass without objecting, it would form part of the court record, and the trial judge will be entitled to consider it in evaluating the evidence on record for what it is worth. This is the Supreme Court speaking.
What's the name of the case again?
The case is Aye and Kakbo versus Aya Idris. I'll send it to you. I'm happy to share. I'll share it on my Facebook page for everybody to see. So let's not make it look like the Attorney General will have his time and please, there is no legal principle there. Now let me say that it is very erroneous for anybody to say that Mr. Jakpa is not or was not represented. Let me show you. I have the record of proceedings here. On the 26th of March 2024, Mr. Jakpa appeared before court and told the court that he did not have a lawyer and he wanted time to get a lawyer. So, no, that was before the 26th of March. Then on the 26th of March, this is even the record of proceedings they brought to me, the whole record of proceedings. Then on the 26th of March, Mr. Tadiosori appeared in court and announced himself as the lawyer for Mr. Jakpa. So as at 26th March 2024, Mr. Jakpa was represented. Then the court adjourned the case to the 9th of April to allow Mr. Sori to study the documents, as is the practice if you're a new lawyer. You go and announce yourself, the court will give you time to study the documents and then come and, represent your clients well. So it is false that at the time the Attorney General, and the call was on the morning at 7:12 a.m. exactly when Mr. Jakpa was supposed to. That is why in the audio you will hear the AG telling him, please try not to finish your evidence. You know, the MPP, you see, let's not make this an NDC MPP discussion. And let me also correct you now. The accusation is not against the Attorney General.
Who is
the accusation is against Godfrey Dame.
And who is Godfrey
So let me
Dame?
ask you, when Cecilia Dapa, you found the monies under the Cecilia Dapa's bed, did you find it in her capacity as the official or the Minister of State, or you found it as Cecilia Dapa keeping the money? You see, when you hold the public office, it is a position of trust and a fiduciary duty, and more so when you are the Attorney General. So when he engages in ethical breaches, let me say, when he engages in ethical breaches, he cannot invoke the cloak of Attorney General.
But he
did it as a person.
In his capacity as who?
As Godfrey Dame.
And not as the Attorney General.
No, because you know why. You know why. You know why.
Why?
When you are Attorney General, you are expected to exhibit standards. The moment you go contrary to the standards, that is why when you are a director of a company, there are things you can be held liable for as a director of the company, and there are things you can be held liable for as a person and not the director.
Yes, but
and
when
so
you
when
act
this
in your
wrong,
capacity
so let's
as
not,
Attorney General to do a thing.
To do what thing?
A thing.
What thing?
Which,
you can't just say a thing.
Is now saying
you can't say a thing.
Call to him.
Ask the question
I'm
well.
asking you a question.
Then ask it well.
Allow me to ask.
Okay.
Hold your horses.
Okay, let me hold it.
If Godfrey Dame, in his capacity as Attorney General, calls a person who is represented, without his lawyer's presence, and now this person comes to court and says that the Attorney General called me so and so, you're saying that we should not consider Godfrey Dame, who might have done that thing, as the Attorney General.
No,
but as Godfrey
Dame,
the who?
I'm saying that the allegations.
You have to manage your time.
I'm saying that the allegations. Yes,
I know that, but you see, because it's a legal issue and Beatrice is a lawyer, it's great that maybe
next week I'll come for one.
It's great that she gives us some clarification, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
You gave her 30 minutes for the first time.
I understand what you're saying.
So the point I'm making is that
I understand you,
not only Beatrice, I mean you have to share it appropriately.
Yes, Nanaya.
So now in conclusion, let me conclude. Now let me conclude.
Are we finished?
She's wrapping up.
Nana, please let me conclude. You see,
it's not only
so
Beatrice, but you need to apportion your time.
Nanaya.
So let's say that when the Attorney General acts, he acts for and on behalf of the people. Would you say that the Supreme Court judge in his house was representing the Supreme Court at the time of the meeting? Because he's a Supreme Court judge. Let's separate Godfrey Dame from this. Let him not hide under the cloth of office. There is a reason why it is called Office of Attorney General. What Godfrey Dame has done is shameful. It's never happened in our republic. It is a disgrace and it's a threat to the citizens. And let's not make it NDC MPP. This is Ghana against an ethical political party and Attorney General.
All right, Laura too.
Now, she goes on and says, let's not make it about NDC and MPP. Of course, it shouldn't be about NDC and MPP. It's about an issue of someone alleged to have caused financial loss to the state. Right. The case is ongoing. There are issues coming up. If you really, and I will emphasize, if they really mean well, then what was this press conference as NDC led by their national chairman for? When there are processes to go through. Then in one breath, the Attorney General acted as Godfrey Dame. But what is the case? Is the state against Atuforsen and others? You are the lawyer. Is the state against Atuforsen and the others? It's not Godfrey Dame against. He's the state's lawyer. He's the Attorney General.
Of Godfrey Dame.
You get it? So if you're going to muddy this whole case of someone alleged of causing financial loss to the state, and to go back to what Nanaya said, that the people said they want to pay the money. It's money we need, let's take it. I think that would be a very terrible precedence to set. Of course, there's a plea bargain thing, but this big C people, were they part of the case?
They are representatives.
They are representatives.
So they are part.
You get it. But are they part of the case? They are not part of the case.
But Japa is their representative.
You get it. Japa is their representative. The case has been going on. So we just say, oh, just because they've offered to give us money, let's take the money and do it. Then we might as well all start taking from the state.
So you think we should not accept the money at all? Or you're saying accept and then still continue with the trial?
It's a process. Most of the time, even when judgments are being given, even with plea bargain, it's for lenient sentence and all those things. It doesn't totally wash away the fact that the person is guilty at the end of the day or not. But this is an ongoing trial.
It's an admission of guilt.
Exactly. So it's some leniency that is exercised at the end of the day. But this, you just don't say, well, let's take the money and all that. But that is it. And the case, let's be clear, it started before Honorable Atuforsen became leader of the minority in parliament. Let's be clear about those things. But at the end of the day, this trial must be done and done. If the NDC, the way they are going about it, if lawyers in the NDC or lawyers in this country think, I mean, it's not about bringing out passions and all that. We all want the right thing to be done. If we believe so much, the Attorney General has also come up. But if we believe that that's the call for an investigation, let's go into it.
Right.
Let everybody present what they have. But this attitude of the NDC always running around, shouting and trying to bastardize everybody just because things are not in their favor, they need to watch it. Of course, it shouldn't be about MPP and this. It should be about the state. It should be about the country. It should be about our forward march. But that is not done through a partisan press conference.
All right, Laura,
and you should get that clear.
Thank you so much. Nanaya.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to give me your conclusion.